There are two basic ways to duplicate websites and the collaborative documents that are necessary for a CSCS activity. One of them depends upon being granted editor privileges, and the other is simply copying and pasting what other people have done. Again, you want to make sure you get permission from the author. So if we're to look at the diagram here again of the various different resources, your Google account controls the website and all of the Google resources that are found in Google Drive, as well as YouTube and Picasa Web photo albums. So what we want to do is we want to look into our Google account, which is tied to our Gmail account, and then be able to give privileges to various different individuals so they can have access to edit these various different documents. So the way we do that is when we go to our Gmail account, you will see that on the far left that rather than viewing things just under the mail message thing, if you click on the contacts, you'll see all of the people in your address book. Now, you can see from my address book here, I have thousands of people in my address book, and I've created a new group called HPCA-CSCS demonstration, and have put into it just 11 different fake individuals right here. So what you'd want to do is, in terms of granting access to others, is you'd want to create your own group down here, which I'm just going to say I'd like to create a new group, and I'm going to call this one HP Catalyst Academy Computer Supported Collaborative Science Demonstration 2. Okay, so this is a new group, and you'll see it over here on the left. So now as I scroll through all my various different groups, you'll see one over here that says HPCA Demonstration, which is the ones we currently have, and then this new one, which is group, which is blank. So if I wanted to add people to this, I can simply put on here and say, well, let's see if there's anybody by the name of Test. Well, certainly there are, because I've added some in there. So let's say I'll add in a few people here. Let's see if anybody else is in my address book with that name. Yes, I'm adding in Test 7. Let's say we put in Test 4, and let's say Test 6. So now this group here has those 4 contacts in it. And if I were to give permission based upon this mail group, in other words, based upon HPCA-CSCS Demonstrations 2, all 4 of those people would be given access simultaneously. However, if I clicked on this one, I would be giving access to full 11 people in this particular list. And you may notice that this list of people here are in all of those different groups. They're both in my basic contacts list, as well as HPCA-CS Demonstrations 1, and those 4 now also appear in my second list of contacts. So when you go to an activity, let's say, or to an entire website, the highest level privilege you can have is an owner of a particular account. If I was to go to share this, I could grant access to this entire website by saying, okay, I'd like to have HPCA-CS Demonstration 2, and if I share it, all 4 of those people now that I just said now have access to that, and you'll see their names listed in here once the sharing is complete. So now those 4 people will actually see this website in their own Google Sites directory. And so if they were to go to sites.google.com and just look at all of the different websites that they had subscribed to, they will see this one as one of those options. So if this happens to be my listing of sites, but each person who has a Google account will have a listing like this that'll include numerous websites that they have either have authored or have been given privileges as an author or an editor. So if I see that I have access to a particular site, then I can open that site, and in that site I can actually duplicate the entire site. So let's just go back there to the site at hand right here. If I say share this, and then I would make, let's say, this person here, if I make them an owner, then Norm Hare can have full range of access over the site, and they can duplicate it. When we to duplicate a site, if it appears in your list, you simply open the site and then go over down here to where it says Manage Sites. And once this option comes up, there you'll see an opportunity here for you to duplicate the entire site. It's called Copy This Site. So if you clicked on this Copy This Site, it would take that entire site and duplicate it. So in my case right here, if I were to click this, it would copy all of the Google activities that are in here, or I should say all of the CSCS activities that are in here, and I would have them there in my own account. Now that's the highest level of copying, but you have to be careful. Even though you get all of the content from the web pages, you don't get the Google documents themselves. So just to review, is that the websites is basically the resource by which you get to all of these highly interactive documents over here. So if I made you an owner or an editor and you were able to duplicate or make a copy of the entire site, you get all of the content of the site, with the exception of any of the interactive documents like the forms and the spreadsheets and so forth. So it really does save a lot of time. If you have somebody that you want to work from their resource, you can duplicate stuff very quickly. But then you will still need to go back and tie into the forms and the spreadsheets, the documents, etc. And even though the links to the photo albums will be good, those photos reside in the original author's account, not in yours. And so if they were to take down those photos, you'd end up with a broken link. So the bottom line is that you can copy the basic format of the website really quickly, but all of the external materials you really need to copy over and relink to make sure that things work well. So let's say we took a particular activity like the density and buoyancy activity that we worked with before, and if you wanted to duplicate this, if you were a owner, again, you could duplicate not only this, but you could duplicate the entire site, the entire Google site, by simply going to More and then saying Copy This Site. Well, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is just to simply copy and paste. So let's say that I wanted to duplicate this site right here. So I'm going to take this, and I can simply highlight it, and I'll edit and I'll copy it. And so now that that is copied into the clipboard, the question is, where do I want to put that? Okay, so in this case, just because it's illustration purposes, I'm going to create another one in my same account, but you could obviously create it in your own account. So I'm going to create a new page in my existing account. I'll call this Density 2. And I want to put it in a logical location. If I put it at the top level, that's not terribly useful because pretty soon everything will be at the top level and you won't be able to do like a directory tree of any type. So you can always say choose a different location, which will look at the sitemap for your entire site. In this case, I see I have a lot of CSCS activities here. And right now this happens to be one that I originally categorized in the physics category. So I'll go ahead and open that again. And let's say I wanted to put that into the CSCS physics. I could simply say there and say create. And now that'll go into there along with my other CSCS activities. So now all I would have to do is say edit paste, and I'm just using the browser, which is outside your viewing window right there. And voila, everything is good. And if I save it, now that website is now in my own unique account, And notice that it's different than the other ones. This is density 2, and if we click back over here, we can see that the original one that came from was density and buoyancy, which is this one right here. So it is definitely a new page. I called it density 2 rather than density and buoyancy. And that actually happens to be listed now under my account here because I have a subpage listing along with the original. So this site really works completely well. All of the links you'll see work. However, remember that if I clicked on a table now, let's say I click on this data table, this data table now goes to the original author's one. This is actually sitting in my account rather than in your own account. So the problem would be is that it's going to blend the data from yours with the author's, and that can be kind of confound things quite a bit. So you never want to keep any of these documents here in the original author's account. In other words, you create your own unique website, and you're going to have to duplicate these as well and relink them. So in the next movie, we're going to learn how to duplicate the individual documents, both Google Documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, the slides, slideshows, and movies, so that you can truly own all aspects of your CSCS lesson.